Alexander. Alexander was born in Macedonia. King Philip II was his father. At the age of 20, he was throned as the king of Macedonia. To establish a world empire was his desire. He started his victorious journey in BC 334. He captured Asia Minor. Alexander defeated Darius, the king of Persia. In BC 332, he captured Egypt and established the city of Alexandria at the bank of Nile. Again, he defeated Darius in BC 331. Alexander with his army reached the shore of Sindhu. The king of Takshashila accepted his authority. Then Alexander fought against Porus, the king of Punjab. In the battle of Porus was defeated. But Alexander praised the courage and gave back his kingdom. If he had a strong desire to capture Magadha, because of his ill health, Alexander returned to Greece. Alexander Graham Bell. Alexander Graham Bell was a Scot who invented the telephone. He was born in Edinburgh on 4 March 1847. Bell's father taught elocutions and Alexander was expected to follow. He was educated at Edinburgh High School, Edinburgh University and the University of London. In 1873, he became professor of vocal physiology in Boston University. Alexander Graham Bell experimented with the ways of using electricity to transmit sound, helped by his assistant Thomas Watson, and in 1876 he patented the telephone. In 1898, he became president of National Geographical Society. He was also interested in the problem of mechanical flight and experimented with the kites. Alexander Graham Bell married a deaf woman in 1877 and they had 4 children. Bell became a US citizen in 1882. Alexander Graham Bell died in Nova Scotia on 2 August 1922. He was 75. Albert Einstein. Einstein was a famous German physicist. He was born at Arna town in Germany. He received a doctorate degree from Zurich University in 1905. He was the founder of relativity theory. He won the Nobel Prize in 1921. He actively participated in making atom bomb. He was also interested in music and mathematics. Alfred Nobel. Alfred was born in Stockholm in Sweden. His father's name was Immanuel Nobel. He discovered dynamite. This discovery made him famous. The power of destruction of dynamite is very high. He conscious about his destructive power. An amount of $90 lakh he deposited for the goodness of mankind. The interest gets from the deposit give us prize to person who works for the goodness of humanity. The prize is known as Nobel Prize. Nobel Prize is now distributing the subjects such as physics, chemistry, literature, peace, and economics. Amartya Sen. Sen was born in 1933. The name of his father, Ashok Sen, and the mother was Amida. Tagore gave him the name Amartya. His father was a social worker. This virtue transferred from the father to son. Amartya was very sympathetic from his younger days. He tries to remove illiteracy among the poor people. He conducted class for them in leisure time. Education from Shantiniketan made him equivalent and a good teacher. In 1951, he passed the ISC examination. He completed his education at Cambridge University. He wrote many books. He served as Delhi School of Economics, Oxford and Harvard. He was awarded the Nobel Prize for Economics in 1998 and also got Bharat Ratna. Annie Besant. Annie Besant was born in London, England. Her parents from Ireland. She was born on October 1, 1847. From 1893 onwards, India was her home. She was one of the foreigners who inspired patriotism among Indians. She was a woman of much energy, interest and oratory. She was separated from her husband in 1873. After this, she became the member of Fabian Society and Theosophical Society. She was the elected president of organization. She held that the position until her death. She founded at Home Rule League in 1970. The purpose behind it was to gain freedom of the country and revive the country's cultural heritage. Annie Besant attended in 1914 sessions of the Indian National Congress and presided over in 1970. She could not understand the meaning of the Satyagraha movement. As a result, she withdrew the Home Rule League in opposition to Mahatma Gandhi's leadership. She identified the talent in young men and women. She lived most of the remaining years in India, rejoined at last by her son and daughter. This great woman died in Madras in 1933. Archimedes. An ancient physicist, Archimedes was born at Syracuse in Greece. He was famous through his Archimedes principles. He was also a mathematician. He became the founder of statistics and find out the value of pi. He was also found the primary principles of calculus. He constructed the machine Archimedes screw. Aristotle was a Greek philosopher. He was a student of Plato. Aristotle is also famous as the teacher of Alexander the Great. Aristotle was born in 384 BC. He was greatly interested in politics, metaphysics, logic, and biology. This great ancient philosopher was influenced by some other philosophers like Parmenides, Socrates, and Plato. He was a man of knowledge who wrote on the varieties of subjects and topics. The various fields like physics, metaphysics, poetry, theatre, music, logic, rhetoric, politics, government, ethics, biology, and zoology came under the serious study. Aristotle is considered one of the most powerful founding figures in Western philosophy. Along with Socrates and Plato, he laid the foundations of Western philosophy. He required a special attention because it was Aristotle who first created the comprehensive systems of philosophy. For that, he combined morality of aesthetic, logic and science, politics and metaphysics. It is true that Aristotle had written volumes of various subjects. However, majority of his work are now lost. It is estimated that only about one third of his original works have been available to us.